All right, good morning, everybody. It's the Fantasy Sports Boss. We are live here on Sunday, September 14th of 2025. Week 2 is here already. Of course, we already had the Green Bay Packers knock off the Washington Commanders on Thursday. We got 2 games on Monday. Sorry about a little bit of a delay to the start of the day. Had some stuff that I had to take care of, but I'm here. The injury update should be coming out shortly. Going to go through all the games and some of the themes, some of the things that I'm looking for today. I'm pulling up the schedule now. Some of the things that I'm looking for today in the world of fantasy football, and also hit the subscribe button if you are new. Bobby, ETN, or Pearsall? We're going to go ETN. I think ETN, and that's why I put the question up today. I personally think ETN is an every week firm starter, top 12 guy in PPR, 100%. And also, I was even toying with the idea in one of my leagues. I have Chase Brown, and this is a keep league. Chase Brown, ETN, and Bijan Robinson. So I was able to amass all 3 of these guys through keeper. And I also have Travis Etienne on my bench. I was actually thinking about benching Achane for Etienne because Etienne has a tremendous matchup today where Achane and the Dolphins, state of the Dolphins offense is far from a given. So I was toying with that idea at least for today. Rain, as far as Josh Downs, and again, post your questions if you have any. I'm taking a wait and see approach with him. Michael Pittman seems to be the one that jived the most with Daniel Jones last week. So we're going to stick with that for now. So I wouldn't put him out there just yet. Pacheco or Tracy? I'm going Tracy. The Giants are going to feed him today. They have to. They have to keep the Dallas offense off the field. They've lost 13 straight games to Dak Prescott. Something has to give here. Tyrone Tracy, they're going to make him the focal point today to try to keep this pass rush at bay from getting to Russell Wilson. Things are getting ugly there already for the Giants. So let's get to the schedule. Buffalo at the Jets, 1 p.m. This is a good one. Josh Allen has had some historic troubles against the Jets, and I'm curious to see what the Justin Fields encore is going to be. Remember, I've been on record on this channel saying it was Justin Fields and Dak Prescott. You should have drafted both of these guys and play the matchups. Last week, it was Justin Fields, who you should have gone with. This week, it's Dak Prescott against the Giants because the Buffalo Bills defense is solid, even though the Ravens put up a lot of points against them last week. But I will say, I think that Justin Fields looked great. Like, it was a struggle of a preseason for him. He looked great. He looked decisive. He made the right reads. He was reading the defenses better than I've ever seen him do. And a 30, plus fantasy point outing right out of the gate against what's usually a stout Steelers defense, I thought was a tremendous start to the season for Justin Fields. And of course, his chemistry with Garrett Wilson, who I admit I was fading this year, their connection at Ohio State, certainly they looked the connection there looked reinvigorated with the Jets. Listen, as far as the Bills are concerned, Keon Coleman is a firm bench for me. I know, Keon Coleman had a great game last week. Well, you know what? He's going to have a face full of Sauce Gardner this week. So Keon Coleman, make sure you put him on the bench. James Cook last week was good. I have to admit, I think it was 23 PPR points. I was leery about him this year as well. But so far, so good there. Do we start Fannin? Yes, we start Fannin. I did a video of this earlier today because they're going to be playing catch-up in this game, and they're playing him all over the field. And this is a new trend now with the tight end position. And Fannin is one of the storylines I'm watching today because they put him in the backfield. Tyler Warren was put in the backfield for the Colts. This seems to be a new trend now with these tight ends. Rain, Josh Downs. Yeah, I told you Josh Downs is somebody I'm a little bit leery on today. I wouldn't start him over Calvin Ridley. Now, Calvin Ridley doesn't have a great matchup, but I still would start him over Josh Downs. All right, so Giants at Dallas, 1 p.m. And it really goes to show you how little the NFL, how much little respect they have about the Giants and the Jets because they put them at 1 o'clock against each other each of the last, 2 weeks. And when I was younger, that never happened. Like the Jets, Andrew Thomas ruled out today, guys. Breaking news. So that's bad news for the Giants. They really need Andrew Thomas, best tackle in football. That's a problem. So anyway, getting back to that Giants and Jets. Yes, they used to never be on at the same time at 1 o'clock being in a New York market, but that is where they're relegated now. And we got to see, both teams. And for the Giants, here's the thing about the Giants. I want to talk about this. This is one of the things I'm looking at today. Already Brian Dable hedged on whether Russell Wilson was going to start in week 2. That's a bad sign, right? So Jackson Dart, if he's available in your leagues, and now in Superflex leagues, I'm sure he's already taken. But if Jackson Dart is available in your single quarterback league, you pick him up now, because it could be as soon as the second half today, he gets in there, right? So, in my opinion, Jackson Dart will be a top 12, top 14 quarterback right out of the gate. He runs very liberally. He looked great in the preseason. I think right off the bat, he's going to be a prime fantasy asset because of his legs being complemented. And we all know when you're a running quarterback in fantasy football, that is like a cheat code as opposed to a pocket passer like a Jared Goff, where the margin of error is a lot smaller. Yeah, we definitely need Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase to get going today for sure. Dart or Penix as a London owner. Penix. I would go Penix in that situation. All right. Chicago at Detroit. This game's got a lot. I'm surprised this is a 1:00 game because there's storylines all over this one with Ben Johnson going back to Detroit to take on the Lions, and the Lions looked like crap last week offensively. Like, they just did not look good. There was no flow at all. Amon-Ra St. Brown disappointed. Jameson Williams disappointed. The whole running game disappointed. Jahmyr Gibbs, even though he caught a bunch of passes, did nothing. Like, there was nothing there. Sam Laporta was really the only one who put forth an adequate fantasy performance last week. Is it just a one-game blip? We'll see today. Jair Alexander inactive for the Ravens today. So that's a decent loss. So again, Harold Fannin, this will help him even more. Now getting back to the Chicago-Detroit game, Caleb Williams, listen, he's starting to frustrate me already in the sense, the same way that Trevor Lawrence has been annually frustrating. Like, Caleb Williams was all over the place. His accuracy was terrible last week. He was, had happy feet in the pocket. He's throwing the ball into the ground. He's throwing high. Like, he just was not throwing the ball well at all. And for the guy who was the top quarterback taken in that draft class, he's been outplayed by almost all the guys who were taken after him in the first round. And I'm sure there's some pressure there. Now, with that being said, he's running a lot, and he put, a 20-plus fantasy point performance last week when he didn't even play that well. So there's still a sky-high ceiling with Caleb Williams. I'm curious to see how he does today there. And also, guys, if you're doing the running back strategy, the handcuff running back strategy, if your league allows it, and in Yahoo they do, if players on your bench, even though if their game played already, you could cut them for somebody in a later game. I picked up Ray Davis and Braylon Allen for the 1:00 games. If anything happens to James Cook or Breece Hall, respectively, you have the handcuff already on your roster. So this is a great strategy if your league allows it. Now, I don't know about Sleeper and CBS. I don't know if they allow this with players that are on your bench. If their game is played already, you can drop them or not. But Yahoo does allow this. Cleveland at Baltimore. So it's going to be a long day for the Browns today. But Joe Flacco still has his arm. He's got a new toy in Harold Fannin. I did a video on him today. I'm not going to go back over that again. You can go check it out. But he should be picked up everywhere. The fact that he was able to get his numbers with David Njoku starting as well is a good sign for him going forward. Jerry Jeudy, not so much. Jack Conklin inactive for the Browns today against the Ravens. So some key injuries in that game. Dylan Sampson caught a lot of passes last week, but Quinshon Judkins is back in the fold. Now he's looking at a suspension, so I wouldn't drop Dylan Sampson, but Dylan Sampson did not run the ball well last week. He was really he was almost like a James White kind of player. Major asset in the passing game, struggles running the game. And James White made a career out of that. So there's something to be said. There is value there. But Jerome Ford is still there. So it's still like a very muddled backfield there. Tyler Warren, I like him, Rain. Tyler Warren's an every week guy, 100%. Jacksonville at Cincinnati. Bengals defense played a little bit better last week, but they still, the offense was just a joke. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, for that matter, did nothing. So Trent Williams, Juwan Jennings, both active for the 49ers today. They did nothing. Like, it was the most disappointing performance of anybody, in my opinion, in fantasy last week, just because of the fact that, you have Devin Witherspoon inactive for the Seahawks. Just the fact you had the number one pick in PPR leagues and Jamar Chase catch 2 passes. You got 1 touchdown from Joe Burrow. So maybe the Browns defense is better than we thought, but they have a soft landing spot this week, this Bengals offense against the Jaguars team. There should be a shootout. Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, all of a sudden back as, like he was as a rookie, as a top 10 PPR running back. If you had him on your bench, you were able to pick him up. This was a bonanza, a steal, whatever you want to describe it. This was a big thing for your fantasy team to have Travis Etienne coming out of the preseason because he looks great. Travis Hunter looked good, 6 catches. He's doing the Christian Kirk role in this Jaguars offense, meaning a decent amount of targets, not a lot of yardage and touchdowns. Hopefully the touchdowns will come. Even Brian Thomas last week, he had the rushing touchdown, but he did virtually nothing. So, there was a lot of big name players last week that just did not do much of anything. I got to see Trevor Lawrence get there. It's time, dude. You got to get going now. Come on. Rams in Tennessee. The Rams are arguably the best coach team in football, in my opinion. They're always a factor every year. I think that Matthew Stafford looked great. Puka Nacua caught passes all over the place. Clearly, Devontae Adams took the back seat. This was Puka Nacua's passing game. Matthew Stafford's always done this. He's locked in on his number one guy, and Puka Nacua is that player. But he's got to avoid the injuries. Opened up a gash in his head last week, tested for concussion, came out okay. He's got to run out of bounds a little bit more instead of taking all these hellacious hits. And Devontae Adams, I think he's still going to lead this team in touchdown receptions. As far as the Tennessee Titans, it's going to be ugly. If you can bench Calvin Ridley, I would. I think there's brighter days ahead here, but they've opened up the season with 2 really hellacious matchups defensively. Juwan Johnson, I don't think he's a mirage, but what I would say about the New Orleans Saints offense is that Kellen Moore is throwing the ball a lot, like over 40 pass attempts with Spencer Rattler as your quarterback. And even, the Chris Olave, working in the slot, I thought that was a really nice boost for his value as well. New England at Miami. Tua Tagovailoa has never lost to the Dolphins. To the Patriots. So that streak is on the line here. He's also 0-2 against Mike Vrabel coach teams. So something's going to give in this matchup. Not the easiest matchup for Miami. This is a well-coached Patriots defense. I think obviously you're starting Devin Achane, you're starting Tyreek Hill, you're starting Jalen Waddle, who's always banged up. But I think that this is not a last stand because it's only week 2. But Mike McDaniel, this could spiral out of control in Miami with a disgruntled Tyreek Hill, who is in trouble again with the league. A lot of problems here, a lot of potential problems here. Ridley or Tillman. Tillman's been the better receiver than Jerry Jeudy in terms of fantasy points, when both guys have been on the field going back to last season. So you absolutely could ride with Tillman here in this one. Moving right along here, as far as New England too, Trayvon Henderson, he's getting the Jahmyr Gibbs treatment. They're easing him into the offense. I know he was really good in pass protection in college, but he struggled in the summer. And apparently is a little bit of an issue as well. But I think brighter days are ahead there as well. San Francisco at New Orleans. This game is almost unwatchable. No Brock Purdy, no George Kittle. Juwan Jennings is playing. They're going to give 30 touches to Christian McCaffrey. Is he going to get hurt? It's just a lot of problems already in San Francisco, and New Orleans going to be right there as the worst team in the NFL. But Chris Olave is playable as a wide receiver 3. Alvin Kamara, Spencer Rattler wasn't throwing to him last week. Hopefully that changes for him this week. Seattle against Pittsburgh. Sam Darnold was just okay, but Jackson Smith and Jigba very well could lead the entire NFL in targets this season. I don't think there's any question. The talent, he's a wide receiver number 1, no matter what. Pittsburgh defense got strafed by Justin Fields and the Jets last week, but I think they're going to be better. There are rumors Tyreek Hill could end up here as well. I think a nice day is on tap for DK Metcalf, taking on his former team there. Wow, only 3 4:00 games today. Carolina at Arizona. Listen, Bryce Young, what he did the second half of last year, I think kind of seduced people again, thinking, okay, maybe he's starting to figure it out. It was really bad last week. And T. McMillan, we all love the potential, the value of T. McMillan, but this offense is just one big train wreck. Chuba Hubbard was lucky he scored last week because he did virtually nothing as well. Arizona, Marvin Harrison Jr., Nice bounce back start last week. He scored. No touchdown again for Trey McBride. It just seems to be a thing there. Like he's like the Julio Jones effect. But Kyler Murray played well. This is another big theme I'm looking toward this week. How much work is Trey Benson going to get? Because it was mentioned during the summer by James Conner himself. He thought that Trey Benson should be getting more work, and that's what happened in week 1. And if that's going to continue, that's going to hurt James Conner. He could go to the moon, yes. It's certainly a great matchup for him. Carolina just can't stop the run. But how much will Trey Benson play? That's a key to keep an eye on there. Denver at Indianapolis. Daniel Jones is in for a tough day. Great last week, but this Denver defense is legit. Bo Nix looked like he never played quarterback before. Last week he was absolutely horrendous, averaging a little bit more than 4 yards per attempt, which is embarrassing. Hopefully it was just a one-game thing there. I know there's a lot of expectations, including for myself, about Bo Nix this season, so we'll see there. And here's the other thing with the Denver running game. This is J.K. Dobbins' job. R.J. Harvey played well on his limited snaps last week, but he, too, struggling badly in pass protection. He's not getting a lot of opportunity because of that. J.K. Dobbins scored. This is J.K. Dobbins' job right now in Denver there. Philadelphia at Kansas City. This is the one. This is the game we're all looking forward to today. Can't wait. Another big theme I'm looking toward today is how is Travis Kelce going to play? Is he washed up? Last week he looked terrible, wasn't getting open, just looked indifferent, took out his own guy. I'm looking forward to seeing how he does this week. No Dallas Goedert likely today for the Eagles. So A.J. Brown owners, I think you're going to be rewarded today. He's going to get his season back on track. J.K. Dobbins is going to have a good one for sure. John, I mean, that could be the case in Carolina, but Bryce Young's just got to play better. That's it. He's starting to run out of excuses. All right, Atlanta, Minnesota. How about J.J. McCarthy's first 2 starts, national events, prime time? This one is going to be a wild game. I think there's going to be points all over the place. J.J. McCarthy played badly, horribly actually, the first half of last week, but it was a good sign that he rallied his game. He rallied the team. He made big plays down the stretch, and he accounted for 3 touchdowns. He's a new dad. His son was just born. He's going to be playing with his hair on fire. I think it's a good spot for him this week. Same thing, Michael Penix. I actually like the way Michael Penix is playing. They got to get the run game a little bit better, get it going a little bit better this week as well. Monday, Tampa, and I hate when they do this. So we have a 7 o'clock and a 10 o'clock. Nobody's going to watch the 10 o'clock game. I don't know why the NFL continues to insist on doing this. Knicks or McCarthy. I'm going McCarthy in that one. Omarion Hampton versus Etienne. I'm going Etienne, Jay, and then Ibuka or Pickens. I'm going Ibuka. And that's the other thing. They're not rushing Chris Godwin back because Ibuka played so well last week. All right. And Baker Mayfield picked up where he left off, and he ran for 30 yards, folks. I got into a lot of arguments with people about this during the offseason. Oh, it's a fluke, the 300 yards he ran for last week. No. Once you establish you have that skill, it becomes part of you. Baker Mayfield's going to continue to run. I think he's going to be a top 5-6 guy this season. Houston, man, that offensive line looks even worse than it looked like last year. And this is a problem for Nico Collins owners. Like, the big play may not be there with this offensive line playing as poorly as it did. Also, they're speaking in the past tense about Joe Mixon. Is it only a matter of time before Woody Marks gets a shot? Keep a close eye on this situation. And then Chargers in Las Vegas. Listen, I didn't think that Justin Herbert was going to get as much run in the passing game as he did early on last week. And Keenan Allen looks great. He picked up right where he left off. This is another thing I'm looking at. How much of effect is Keenan Allen being back with the Chargers hurt Ladd McConkey, who was used in the X position while Allen was working at the slot there? This could hurt McConkey's touchdown potential, which is not great to begin with, and also his raw catch totals, but also boosting his yardage. And if they're going to throw the ball more, Justin Herbert, we know, is a top 10 guy, maybe even a top 8 guy on talent alone. This is a good thing for him. So, but anyway, guys, so just, quick stream today. Just wanted to jump on, go over the games, tell you guys what I'm thinking about. 1 o'clock starts the fun. Have that notification bell hit. Have the subscribe button hit as well. And we will all chat a little bit later. Good luck today. I'll let you know how I did later on today. Take it easy, everybody.